All right, welcome back to Mrs. Stewart's Crochet Club. Today we are going to be working on this really cute and simple watermelon keychain. It consists of 8 rounds, so it's 8 rounds like a coaster, and then we fold it in half, lightly stuffed with our scrap ends. And we add a key ring. So for this project, you will need really any hook will do. I'm using a 4mm because this is kind of my favorite one. You could use any size. You will need some red yarn, white, green, and little scraps of black for the seeds. Please remember to like and subscribe. It really, really will help my channel if I have more people crocheting along. Let's get started. So we're going to grab our red yarn and we're going to make a slip knot with it. And the beauty of this pattern is that you do not have to do the magic loop. If you don't know the magic loop, no stressing. We are going to simply chain 2, 1, 2, and then in that first chain that we made, we're going to do 6 single crochet. So let's remind ourselves, single crochet is insert through the stitch, pull up a loop. You should have 2 on your hook, pull through both of those, yarn over and pull through. That's 1, in through that loop, pull up 1, yarn over, pull through 2. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so you should have 6 stitches in the round here. Going through that first loop, let's just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 there. Next round, we're going to be increasing, and it's going to be 2 single crochets into each stitch. So let's do that. Find that first stitch. It's a little bit laying down. You have to kind of work it a little bit, but once it's in, it'll be good. Okay, so we're going to do 2 in each stitch. So there is 1, 2, we should have 12 in the end, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now, this is where you might want to start using a stitch marker. I tend to wing it and don't use it, and then I lose count and I have to pull things out and start again. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to use a stitch marker to show where the first stitch is. So now we're going to do an increase again, but this one, it starts off with 1 single crochet. There's 1. I'm going to pause for just a second and put my stitch marker in that stitch. I don't like to lock them, so I'm just going to put it in. So the first one is a single crochet, 1 single crochet. The next one is going to be 2 in the same spot. So that's a single crochet increase. There's 1, 2. Okay, the next one is going to be 1 single crochet, and the next one is going to be 2 single crochets in the same spot. So we're going to continue that pattern, 1, and the next one is going to have 2, 1, 2. Next one is 1, then we should have 1, 2. It should be 1, and then 2 in the next one, 1, 2, 1, then 1, 2. Take a minute to count your stitches. You should have 18 all around. 18. I have 18, so I'm going to remove my stitch marker, and the next round is another increase. You're going to notice a pattern as we go on. So the next one is going to be 2 single crochets followed by an increase. So 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2 all the way around. There's 1. I'm going to put my stitch marker. In the end, you should have 24 stitches. So if you get off from what I'm doing, in the end, you want to have 24. So there's 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, that's 1, 2 in 2 stitches, and then 2 in the same stitch. 1, 2. Okay, we're going to do 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2 all the way around. So the last stitch should be 2 stitches in the same spot. I'm going to remove my stitch marker and count my stitches. I have 24 stitches, and we're going to go on to the next round. This one will, by the time you're done this round, you should have 30 stitches in total. And this one starts with 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, followed by an increase. So there's 1. Pause for a second and add a stitch marker if you have one. If you don't have a stitch marker, you can use a scrap of yarn. That works too. And it's usually actually my preferred method, but I'm trying to be professional here. So there's 1, 2, 3, increase, 1, 2. Again, if you want 1, 2, 3, and an increase, 1, 2, increase. So the increase is on the last stitch, and we should have 30 stitches. Last red round, so this one is going to be 4 stitches and then an increase. So let's get started on that. 4 single crochets, 1, be responsible and use my stitch marker. You can be irresponsible if you like and not use one, but you might lose track. 2, 3, 4, and then increase. Okay, you should get all the way around. By the time you get around, you should have 36. I'll meet you back when you get back to your stitch marker, if you used one. Okay, so I've made it all the way around. I am back at my stitch marker, and I have 36 stitches. Now we're going to remove our stitch marker, and we're going to cut our end, fasten off. Okay, we're not going to worry too much about this. This is going to be buried in the next round. We're just going to join our white into maybe a couple spaces. That will just help the keychain be a little more round. As you might see, we're getting edges here. If we start there and have our increases going there, it'll kind of round it out. Grab your white yarn, attach it how you'd like. I like to make a slip knot. Find my stitch. Okay, and I'm just going to slip it on and chain 1 so that it's secure. And I'm not going to count that as a stitch. I'm actually going to go in there and stitch again because I just like to have a solid stitch there. So this one, we're going to be doing 5 single crochets, and then we're going to do an increase. So if you got the pattern from the other round, we're continuing with that pattern, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5, 2. I'm not going to use my stitch marker here because I'm using white and it's easy to find where my beginning was. I don't really need to do that. So I am living on the edge. This is me living on the edge. Here we go. So 5, I'm going to start in the same place I joined. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then do 2 as an increase, 1, 2. Continue the pattern, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then an increase. 1, 2. Okay, I'm going to keep going around, get back to this part, and we will go on to the next color. Okay, so as a beginner crocheter, I always ran into this problem where I fastened something off and then I didn't know what to do with it when I got to it. So we're going to notice that that is the stitch that we're working into, and this is just the toggle. Like, I'm just going to go into the stitch. So I'm on stitch 5 for me. And then the one down here, like, you're going to just step down. We're just going to pretend it doesn't exist, because in this case, it's not going to make a difference in our pattern very much. So I'm going to go in my last 2 stitches. I'm going to add my green in the last stitch. So actually, I'm going to pull out where I had the 2. So this is how we change color in the round. So again, we could cut the line and then reattach, or we could do this move. So here's how we're changing our color. We're going to insert, pull up a white one, and instead of yarning over with this, we're going to grab the green that we wanted, and we're going to complete the stitch using the green. So here we go. I have yarn over as if I'm doing a single crochet, and I'm going to complete it with the green. There we go. So that's the color change. Okay, so we did our color change. We're holding onto the green working yarn and the 2 tails at the back. We're just going to continue with the pattern that we were doing. So now it's going to be 6, 2, 6, 2, 6, 2. So in the end, you should have 48 stitches. So let's go. We're going to go through 6 and then increase. Holding my tail ends together just for a little while until we get it secure. 1, 2, so I notice that I'm tucking in those tails. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'm confident that I have these tails secure. I'm just going to get them out of my way. 6. And so after 6, I'm going to do 2 together as an increase. 1, 2. We're going to continue in that fashion until you get back to this point. So I've reached my last stitch. My last stitch will be the increase. 1, 2. I am going to slip in here, pull this through, and I'm going to chain 1. And now when you cut, I'm going to chain 1. And now when you cut your working string, make it really long. Throw it up. I am actually going to continue to use my crochet hook. Oh, it's so cute already. Like, I can see this turning into what I want it to be. Okay, so we're going to fold that in half, and don't cut these ends off. I'm using these tails just as the little amount of bulk to it, because I don't want to deal with them. And I mean, easy solution. I don't have to stuff it. It's just enough to make it a little bit 3D without overwhelming your keys. So we're going to fold this so that the edges line up, and we're going to take our hook and we're going to insert it into the first stitch and make sure that it goes through the second one too. So you're going to be going through both sides, and you're simply going to do a series of single crochets all the way down, lining it up, sandwiching them together, single crochets all the way to the bottom. So I've made it to my end. Make sure I just secure it at the very end, and I'm going to pull it through, and I'm not going to cut off yet. I'm going to make the loop. So this loop, I'm just going to make a chain of 10, and then I'm going to slip it to the first one, and then I will be able to add my ring. Okay, oops, I don't think I made my string long enough. We're playing chicken here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, it's getting close. Ooh, 6, It's exciting times. 7, 8, 9, 10. Whew. I won at the game of chicken. So I'm going to now slip it through this stitch that it came out. Okay, so thankfully I was able to get that secured in. Now we are going to go ahead and we're just going to hand sew in 3 black dots, and I did it right through from one side to the other, so we don't have to worry too much about how it's going to line up. Let's see. So I'm going to do it over one stitch here. So I'm going to do it over here. I'm going to insert through this side and go right through the opposite side. Right through there. Kind of eyeball it. And I'm not going to pull my string all the way through. So on this side, going over one stitch, I think that would be good. So go in there. Okay, and then I'm going to go back in through here, and then I'm going to kind of work my way over instead of going all the way through, because that one is done on this side. We don't need to go back in through that one. Okay, there's one. I'm going to go through the next one. Just through one stitch is good enough, Miss Stewart. Okay. Okay, so taking a look at the other side to make sure it's poking through pretty good. Okay, and we're going to go through this one. And I'm going to aim for the next stitch. This is the fun part about crafting. You can add your own character to it. And I'm just trying to do my best to make sure it looks good on both sides. You could make your seeds bigger than mine if you wanted to, but I think one stitch seeds is pretty good. Okay, so this one I pulled it a little bit too tight. Okay, I'm gonna go up there, come out this spot, and now just because I like to, I'm going to go back over this one. This one got a little bit buried, so I'm just going to go over it again. I'm going to let my needle come out any place here so I can cut it off. I'm not going to tie it or anything. I don't think it's going to come loose. So I'm just going to go through there and grab my scissors. I'm going to cut the black on this side. And oh no, there's a piece of black there. So what we could do is just grab your hook or your needle and just kind of wiggle it in so it's not seen. This one, we could probably just cut it off, but then I don't want to have any frayed edges. So I'm going to put this back on my needle, my sewing needle, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did for the other one. Just kind of stick it in, find a good spot to come out, remove the needle, and snip it off. Okay. And then I'm going to tuck that in so nobody notices it. And here is how I am adding my key ring. I don't want to open it up because it's just going to get caught. So I'm just going to stick it through here. So this is how we do it. You probably already know what I'm doing, but stick it through here. And then this one, you're going to go over the edge. So I'm just going to spread it out and pull the loop through. Okay, and it should catch. And voila, that's it. You have a cute little summery watermelon keychain. This is the second one I've made. I have 2 little girls in my house, so I'll probably end up losing these to them, probably on their backpacks. I hope that you liked this activity. I'm trying a new lighting system, so I hope it worked. I know it's a little shadowy, and I'll get through that, work it out. I really would appreciate it if you would like and subscribe and join me for more crafting in the future. And I hope you enjoyed this project. Then your choice. Oh, look how cute that is. There we go.